Hello, my name's Adam Cook, and I'm here to talk about Far Cry with someone who's played a decent chunk of it. It's Callum Agnew.
Hello.
Well, Far Cry 5, mate. I don't know where to start. It's a game I'm incredibly interested in because I do very much like the Far Cry series, and I think a lot of people watching this will be the same. This one's caught everyone's interest because of the story, or the potential story and narrative. I'm going to ask you, but I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to go into because obviously you haven't played the final game. Did you get a sense from what you played of that narrative in any way, shape, or form?
Well, it was very American. I'll say that. Like,
Okay.
when you go into it, like you got this massive fuck off truck with a bald eagle painted across it, and you just drive it around, driving into cars and stuff. It's American. But the real question I'm trying to ask is it political? Has it got that political air to it? And that's apparently the devs are pushing that angle quite a bit. Apparently they made it personally because they felt America was going in a certain direction.
So when
That's
they first
verbatim
revealed this
what I was
game,
told.
they revealed this game to press, including us, at like a very brief event before obviously anyone knew that it officially existed, and they did in fact stand there with slides and talked very solemnly about the narrative of Far Cry 5, about exactly what you've just said, I can't speak, the political angle. And I think that's really cool and interesting. I think it's very challenging as well to get into a game that is kind of well known for emergent madness.
Yeah, I mean, I argue that it fits the bill perfectly, but
Okay.
I'd have to be careful with that because.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. And
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
well, when I
the
say
narrative
emergent madness, I mean like driving around in a truck, shooting grenades at buildings and setting fire, like cornfields on
You
fire.
say
well,
that.
yeah,
But
you're
isn't
still...
that the most American thing out there? Driving around, shooting guns, hunting animals,
it's
automatic
certainly
rifles.
a certain side of the American aspect.
It's a stereotype.
Yeah. I mean, I'm treading carefully here, and you're not, but that's fine.
Yeah, I just get the Twitter mentions.
What did you do in your time with Far Cry 5? What did you spend your time doing? I'm guessing they're not giving you, tens of story missions to play through because that's not how preview events work.
No, I didn't get. Like I said, I didn't get to touch the story at all. Really, I got to see a few characters, minor characters. Really,
Yeah.
they said one or two lines. I mean, one of them I describe as a pair of aviators and a beard that flies in the sky. Is
Sure.
a pilot. That's
Okay.
all I got from him. But what I got to play a bit of the trailer that was shown at E3 with the
Okay.
church, and you get to take
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of area over forts. They're called forts, I believe. Probably wrong. But after that, I did get to explore a small area of the map, just driving around. Like I said, you get this massive truck, which is just brilliant. And then there's another mission where I had to basically just fly around bombing people.
That sounds fun to me. No, I'm gonna hang on. I didn't mean that quite as the way it sounded. In a game
I'm the one
context,
You're treading carefully, are you?
well, I just maybe sound like a despot. What I mean is, in a game, in a Far Cry game, that sounds fun. You've mentioned the fort there, the church, and
Yeah.
I'm immediately thinking, well, I've played Far Cry Primal, I've played 4, played 3, in fact, I played 2 and 1 a long time ago. But the more recent ones, forts are certainly an element. It's the kind of outpost thing that a lot of Ubisoft's games do. In fact, a lot of games do. Horizon Zero Dawn had these sort of outposts in them. It's not an
Yeah.
uncommon thing. The thing, and I think this is where Far Cry 5 is going to struggle, is that I think because of this attempt to take the political angle on, to attempt to do something a bit different with the game story, I think people are going to go in expecting everything else about Far Cry to be either tinged with political angles or different, and I'm wondering if the forts are just the forts, the outposts that we are used to, and I wonder if people will expect more, which maybe is unfair.
I think they could expect a little bit more because I
Okay.
think the word I use, forts, and the way I think they described it is a little bit disingenuous. It's more like a small town. It's not in Far Cry. It was a little stronghold that
It's
some people would
outposts, isn't
set
it?
outpost. They would set it up. It's a defensive position. In this, they are places people live. There are bars, for example. There are shops. People live there. Not many, but
And
it's
you're
small
taking
towns.
this over in the
Yeah.
same way you would an outpost. How does that? Because are you killing
turns-
everyone?
Yeah, well, not everyone, but you're killing
Okay,
everyone who's armed and wants to kill you. I
right.
think they're called cultists.
So the people you described just then, like the people who work in the shop, are these actual shops you could go and buy stuff from?
I
I'm
can't
think.
confirm that. I
Okay,
didn't
I'm
get
just
the
thinking once you
opportunity.
take over the outpost, in this case it's a
Mhm.
town village, does it become because in Far Cry it tends to be a case of right, you've taken this fort, this is now
Yeah,
your I can't think what the bloody word I'm looking for. Your gang essentially. This is now belongs to
yeah,
your
yeah.
gang. You can fast travel here. I think there's like weapon caches that you can change your loadouts at and stuff. So that would be kind of cool if you could,
I mean,
you know.
yeah, I mean, like I said, that if that stuff is in the game, it wasn't in the preview build,
Okay,
and there was nothing much to loot to it. The only thing that looted was there was a bar that was open and people were
okay,
working in it. So it's almost like these people just life is going on. They just want to keep their
yeah,
heads down, kind of thing. But yeah, they're like small little towns, and
okay.
it's very American.
So it's a strange game. This is because I really feel like it's a game with two sides to it. Like I say, there's
Yeah.
the story and there's the Far Cry-ness.
Hmm.
What I know about it and what I think people will probably know about it by now is that you've got companions. One of which we all know can be a dog. I'm guessing you've got to experience this sort of companion. Because what I'm also wondering, and you probably can't answer this, but those companions, are they, when you're playing, because the whole game's playable in co-op, are they AI replacements for, say, if I was playing with you instead?
I don't know about that, but if I can play co-op as a fucking dog, best game.
Well, no, I mean, yeah.
Like, that would be brilliant. I
I
would
mean, that
love to.
would, but yeah, that's
I
not
mean,
going to
that
be a
dog is
thing.
powerful. That dog is powerful. It
Does the
just take.
dog die? Can it die?
It
Like, can
gets
your
it gets it
companions
gets
die?
injured and then he just kind of buggers off and then comes back.
And it's the
But
same for the other companions.
this way, I saw this dog take out a bear.
That's cool. I'm in. I'm totally in for that.
Just I saw that and I was just like, what the fuck? But no, I got to play it with the two other companions, and they are very different to the dog. The
I mean,
dog,
they're humans. I would hope.
yeah, I mean the dog just walks around with an AK and he just blows people away. He just
Oh, I
stands
wish he
there like a
did. I
companion.
really wish he did.
That's false. That's just mad. But no, the dog works rather similar to. Did you play Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah.
Works like the dog in that. He tags people,
Okay.
and he also takes out he's pretty aggressive. He takes out a few people as well. So he saved my back a few times. Just some guy
Smart
behind
dog.
me. He's just he's a smart, strong dog. But the other two companions are very interesting as well. Well, one of them is. One of them's just a sniper, which you can.
That's
You can.
the lady, isn't it?
Yeah, I think her name is Grace.
Okay.
Grace. I want to say Kelly, but it's probably
It's
not.
definitely not Grace Kelly. I mean,
Definitely.
if it's
Imagine
Grace Kelly,
that.
someone needs to have a word at Ubisoft and say, lads.
Someone's got to fix that. No, it's
Yeah.
not Grace Kelly. Grace probably begins with a K, but her name's Grace. And you have binoculars, and you can decide where you want her to set up. You just like listen, go on this tower,
So
stay
she's
there,
quiet.
shoot. She's quiet, but she's not supernatural.
Oh,
Although
yeah,
saying
yeah.
that, she
It's-
does like I don't know how she gets around because I'll get in my car, I'll drive somewhere, and then when I'm there, she'll happen to turn up as well.
It's all about that breathable skin. Like,
It's breathable skin. No,
you know.
she's an ex. From what I could tell from the few lines she spoke, she seems like she's a veteran. She's talked about how she killed some Taliban members.
Okay.
She's got an American.
So there's going to be a quest
flag
where
and
she
scarf.
has some sort of flashback or goes into depth about that, and it's dark and.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know how much you get to much personality they put into
I
these
mean,
characters.
one would assume at some point. I mean, not the dog, perhaps. I mean, what? It's Far Cry,
Dog.
perhaps the dog, but I would imagine at some point you're introduced to these people, and there's a reason they're your posse. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of a strange moment because one of the third companion, I won't say party member then.
If you tell me he's a horse that can shit on command, like I'm
yes.
gonna have to.
Yeah, no. The third one is the guy I was telling you about earlier, the pilot,
Yep, yep,
aviators and beard, and he's just all he does is he flies around and he just bombs people for you, like, and you
He
can
sounds
you
good.
can
Again, I've just
great.
said,
It's
in a
great.
game context, he sounds good.
like he sounds like a good guy. We got a word about
Yeah.
no. Yeah, you can target specific areas that you want him to bomb. I mean, like when I started on a hill, there was the church and there's people outside. They were going to execute some guy. There was a huge spiel about it, and I just marked it, and he just bombed everyone. I was like, this is a good start.
Right.
But you do meet him later in the playthrough, but he's on
Uh-huh.
the ground, and
Right.
he's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." I'm like, "Okay." Obviously, the preview build is letting me use this guy a little bit early, So I did get introduced into him, but he just went, "Hey, use my plane, bomb some people." I went, "Cheers." Then I went and bombed some people.
Oh, what, you bombed them from his plane?
Yeah, yeah. Like you can have him as a companion where he's flying around bombing people.
Right, okay.
But then a mission came up where I'm in this plane and I'm bombing people.
Can
And
you
also,
jump out of the plane and just parachute down?
I didn't try that
Oh,
because I was having
Callum.
too much. I'll be honest, I was having a bit too much fun because there's a dogfight in the air.
What, the dogs can fly?
Oh my god, no!
I mean,
a plane.
listen, just for the record, that was deliberate. I'm not that thick. Carry on.
You got to clarify that. 'Cause some
Yeah,
people-
you do on the internet, I'm afraid.
No, at the end, the way the preview event ended was you bomb some people, you take out a convoy, and then a plane rocks up, and this bombastic music comes over, and you're having this dogfight over what is essentially Texas, and it's good. It's good fun. It was hard as well. Like there was this huge pylon that I had to basically fly around with wires and try and navigate my way around because this AI pilot was too good and I couldn't kill him. So I had to get him to just like try and navigate as well and see who died first. But I'm not very good at flying, I'll be honest with you.
To be honest with you, you're describing a Far Cry game with new elements, and
Yeah.
maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know, but I'm fine with that. Like as long as they don't completely balls up that narrative and just make a real hash of it, I'm fine with that. You know.
I mean, there's arguments that the biggest issue with Far Cry 3 was they killed off the best character too early.
Yeah.
And that's when people lost interest because like he was really interesting at the time he was, and he did push people to keep playing. And once he was gone, you're like, well, am I still playing? Like the story's essentially over.
Yes,
but in Far Cry 5, if they manage to have a compelling story, and I think it would be people will be more interested in it because it's closer to home. It's closer to home. It's
big time.
It's not some other country. It's America where many of the players will be living. So I think they can, if the narrative is solid, I think people are going to be talking about this a lot.
You know, the one concern I have with that, like, I think it's very, I would nearly say brave. There's a lot of things of brave. Making a game's not necessarily a brave thing, but in terms of the culture at the moment, did you ever see a show? You probably didn't because no one did, but called Jericho.
Jericho, isn't that Clive Barker?
No, that's the game. Jericho was a show that essentially was, yeah, no, it is, but it was a show that, again, it took place in the States and kind of ended in civil war. Obviously, flights of fantasy in there, but I always felt it didn't. I loved it. I absolutely loved this show, and it's probably famous. And this is a real strange diversion from what we're talking about, but there is a point to this. Yeah, it's so famous. Like it got cancelled after season 1, and like to get it back, there was a line in the show about something about nuts, and so the like fans of the show sent nuts to the studio, like bags of nuts, to get this second, and they got the second series, and it got cancelled again. And I always felt the reason it got cancelled and the reason it wasn't popular was because it was a bit close to home. Which makes me wonder if people, like, you know, we're not from the States, you and I. Obviously, the accents give it away a little bit.
Just a tad.
So we can look at this and go, that's cool, that's interesting. I wonder, again, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that series was something I loved. Again, I'm not from America. It wasn't, I mean, I don't think it would bother me if it was about the UK. But I always felt like it was too close to home for people, and that people, you know what I mean? And I worry.
Get what you mean.
I worry
What
for
year
Far
was
Cry.
this?
Oh god, must be 4 or 5 years ago.
I thought it might be longer. I was saying because a
It
lot's
might be.
changed.
It was a long
A
time
lot
ago.
has changed.
Yeah.
And that's what. And from what I was told, that's what was the main motivation for the devs to make this about America.
Well, they feel that kind of now. Oh, 2008 it was, so it was actually nearly 10 years ago. Jesus Christ.
So things were
old.
very, very different back then, weren't they?
Yeah.
Some
I'd
could
like to
argue
think
better.
we've moved on and we've got better as a society. Maybe so. You're saying they think that this is the times now, essentially.
Well, I'm just saying what I've been told, and I mean they're not shying away from it. Like it's not like they set a game in America and they were like, we're just like, oh, it's in America, but it doesn't mean anything. But these guys are straight out coming out and saying, listen, we've got some things to say. We're going to tell you in a game, and that. Well, it could just be marketing spiel. It could.
No, but it could also be very, very cool and interesting.
I mean, the whole game, like, if it plays like a normal Far Cry game, the whole thing is basically satire. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but it also means that... Oh,
It's
I don't know if I
upset,
want to say this. It's going to upset people who say keep your politics out of...
Hey, Politics have been in gaming since
I know,
1981.
and I of course they are. You can't ask someone who
But that's
is
a
writing
different argument.
a different discussion entirely. But you can't. I don't believe you can ask someone to be apolitical when they're writing a story that the story comes from. This is another discussion. Far Cry 5, on the other hand, is a game out next year. I'm still excited for it. Where do you sit right now, then, having played it for us?
I want to play more. I can't.
Yeah.
I spent a good 20 minutes fishing in the game. Like, it felt authentic as it should. I want to play more.
So you mean fishing with a P and a H if it's authentic? No.
I think like three people going to get that joke.
Let's leave it there. Far Cry 5 is out. It's not out soon. It's out, like I say, next year. Callum, thank you very much for your time. People can find you at Always Agnew on Twitter if they want to ask you about it or have a go at you about any of your opinions in this video. Unusual for someone to sell you out on the video. But
another day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've probably never been sold out on the video while you're talking to someone. But listen,
yeah, I haven't been stabbed in the front, in the back, not the front.
Well, you clearly have not played Far Cry 5's narrative. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy what we do, you can go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, and for $1 or £1 a month, you get exclusive stuff, early videos, and also exclusive written content, as well as early features, all sorts of stuff. Less than a pint of milk. It's probably by the time you hear this, it's not. And it actually probably isn't anyway. But thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.